together. And you may know that I have a proposal before the legislature, which we call Connect Every Acre, where we want to try to provide some incentives and encouragement for other communities all over the state of Iowa to have high-speed internet connections. We recognize that this is what's going to be critical for us to compete in this world economy, and we're hopeful that that legislation actually is moving in committee, and I think the final deadline is the end of this week, so hopefully I think we've got out of committee on at least one side already, so the legislation is alive and well. But I just want to congratulate you for what you've done, and it's pretty impressive. You know, I know the municipal utilities used to generate their own power. We saw where the generators are being decommissioned, and where's your power coming from today?
We purchased from WPPI Energy.
Okay.
So they're Wisconsin-based,
Okay.
joint action agency.
One of the things, you know, we're seeing a lot of power now being generated by wind, and there's also some discussion of more even being done by solar.
Right.
And I don't know if you've been looking at that, but I know that some of the RECs are starting to look at that now too.
Absolutely. Our board of trustees has encouraged the investigation of community solar for this community of Independence. Right now, currently, our power portfolio is roughly 11% renewable.
Okay. Well, very good. I want to congratulate you on the changes and the improvements you made. One of the things I want to ask about is this thing at the federal level. They're talking about this net neutrality issue, and how does that affect you?
I mean, really, we're going to try to do the best thing for our customers first. But two things, you know, us being a smaller utility, that probably won't affect us nearly as much.
Okay.
And really, our position is all lanes of traffic. We want them to be as fast as possible, but not prioritize. If you know, we're not planning on prioritizing traffic.
Okay. Let me ask, you and Jessup have kind of you know, partnered and worked this out. What's the possibility of going bigger and serving the whole county, or serving more of the rural area as well?
Right now, we're doing like cost modeling.
Okay.
And trying to get figured out how much, you know, we've been mapping out the areas around.
Yep.
And, you know, we're going through like different scenarios for like how much it would be paid back.
Yeah.
Whether there be, you know, a commitment from the customer to get that service.
Right.
So, yeah, we're looking at several options there.
Part of what we're trying to do with this Connect Every Acre is to provide some incentives for providers, and my feeling is that we got a lot of different kind of providers, you know, like, so you have a rural telephone company, cooperative telephone company, and then you're a municipal utility, you're partnering together. We have many different kind of providers in Iowa, and my feeling is we want to encourage them all, and we think competition is a healthy thing, and so we want to, but most importantly, we want to have a vision that gets high-speed internet to all parts of the state. And I think back, electricity, we're beneficial in Iowa that we have basically reliable, relatively low-cost electricity, and that's really important for economic development as well as for the convenience of the people. And you think back 50 years ago, of course, people, you know, you had the investor-owned utilities, you had municipals, and you had co-ops that did this throughout the state, and the result is we have all of those, and they are all able to coexist, I guess, and really kind of work together. And I'm hopeful that we'll see that in the relatively near future in terms of this whole area of internet services too. But I think, so you're providing here electricity, you're providing cable and internet services to all of Independence, and then you're partnering with Jessup with regard to this telecommunications
Yeah, well, one of the problems that providers find, one of the big problems is the middle mile.
Yep.
So this is what an answer to the middle mile problem, where all that means is the
Because of putting the cable in the ground to connect it up.
to where the internet exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well as adding some redundancy that didn't exist before, so we do have.
So if you do have an outage, you have a redundancy, so you don't lose service.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So this helps for us to solve part of that problem of how to get to that provider who may be 40, 50 miles away.
Yeah.
So they had roughly half of the fiber that was necessary to complete the ring, and you had the other half. It makes no sense
Makes
for
a
us to
great
build
partnership, yeah.
both.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on things, additional things the state could do that could facilitate or help what you're doing and to serve your customers?
Maybe helping to identify routes of fiber that can be used
Okay.
between entities, you know.
Okay.
That's one thing that they could do.
We have this effort for what is it?
Connected communities?
Connected Communities. Are you familiar with that?
I've looked at it, I haven't gotten into it.
What some communities have done is they've done an assessment, and then we've actually designated connected communities that have done that. They've done their own assessment and then looked at what needs to be done. And that's a service that is available, and we can put you in touch with those people.
Charles City, for example, will be there today, designating them as a connected community, so they might be a good resource
Right.
for you to talk to.
And I think, what have we got, about 14 already?
Yeah,
that have been
a little bit
designated?
over a dozen.
Yeah, communities all sizes in the state of Iowa. But this is all part of our effort because, and that's one of the reasons why I want to be here is to see what you've done and to see how, this could be replicated and how we can encourage communities all over Iowa to work together to do things like this.
I think it's important to work together because it's one way you can build a sustainable business model is connecting up.
Well, it is expensive, we know that too, to put it in, but it's a great, once you got that fiber in the ground, you've got, and we built the Iowa Communications Network many years ago with the idea of connecting up all our schools and hospitals and National Guard armories, and that's a great asset that we have in the state of Iowa.
Very much so.
Are there any other questions or suggestions from the audience here?
Municipality, be able to have our own local data centers.
Well, you may know there's some big data centers being built in Iowa by Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, and I think Google is in their 5th phase out in Council Bluffs. I know Facebook is building their 2nd big building there by Altoona, and Microsoft is building their 2nd one in West Des Moines. So Iowa is a good location for data centers. I'm glad you're thinking about things like that.
We already have the building.
Yeah, we got the building, but whether it fits the needs, I don't know. I just don't. And again, those are huge operations, and they're serving a big chunk of the country. Those are also, I'm glad you're thinking about that. And I guess I'm sure you probably have to do a feasibility study on how that would work out. But that's something that I think in serving the needs of the future, that makes a lot of sense.
I would think there would be a place for there'd be a place for a smaller scale.
Yeah, that's exactly. I would think so too.
And we're not looking for a huge one, we're looking for the local and just to be able to take care of the needs within the smaller regions that kind of drop off,
Yeah.
because we all have data that we want to go somewhere, but not necessarily, you're not big enough for one of the big ones.
Yeah. Well, again, I think you probably want to do a feasibility study and get the right people expertise to take a look at it and see what that is, but, it's a good idea since you're no longer going to be generating electricity in that building, look at another use for it, and it's a brick building, it looks like it's built to last, so it'll probably be here for a long time if you can find the right.
It's very close to clean power.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then with our...
Yeah, and power is, for data centers, that's the key. You gotta have reliable.
And it'll have redundant links to the outside world. There's a lot of-
Okay, well, there's a lot of, you have a lot going for it, but I'm not gonna try to advise. It's beyond my level of expertise. Are there other questions or suggestions? Well, I just want to congratulate you and say I'm impressed with what you've done here in Independence, and also that the collaboration you've got with Jessup, and I hope that what we're doing at the state level with our initiative on broadband will be helpful to you to continue to grow and serve more people. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.